That should be enough. That means I get to eat this one. Do you love frogs? Well, you're not alone. A couple of years ago, I believe Julie from Pouring Your Heart Out, she did a little frog series, and it proceeded to launch a frog invasion on YouTube. Just look around. All of us have done them probably many times. These are all my many attempts. This one was like a leftover from the Sunburst project. This guy glows in the dark. This was my first attempt at a poison dart frog, and I know you're thinking that looks nothing like a poison dart frog, but hear me out. The poison dart frogs have stripes and spots, and so I was like, yeah. I tried it with the UV resin, kind of the raindrop thing, but with stripes. Didn't work out great. Little cereal frog here. This is my daughter's. Yeah, which is this guy. He met an unfortunate end. I'm gonna put him in the "this sucks, let's fix it" pile. So anyway, I'm calling you all out for being too obsessed with frogs while equally engaging in the hypocrisy. We'll just go frog wild. One of them, I might revisit this black and white one I did. That was part of a larger project that I just completely scrapped because, well, we're just not going to talk about it. But anyway, I like how he came out, but he didn't come out like I was thinking. And it never does, but still, I kind of want to revisit that. I might just cut the footage in, though. We'll see how it goes. Another one I want to do with, like, maybe glitter or something sparkly, because in general you can't really control like where glitter goes. It kind of just does its own thing, and I feel like putting into that resin that you can pipe, that we can just get it placed. Maybe we'll do some rainbow stuff. I'm not sure. Rainbow glitter frogs. It's some clickbait. Speaking of clickbait, I want to put the frog, this little frog, into this big frog. Does that make sense? I mean, why would you do that? Why? Clickbait, that's why. Okay. Let me get some of the hand-painted resin mixed up. And if you haven't heard of hand-painted resin, it's just a really thick, high viscosity resin that pretty much doesn't move. You put it where you want it, and it stays there. So that gives us a lot of room to play. And we're going to play. So let's go. I've got it mixed up. The stuff's like super duper thick. It's like icing on cookies. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, instead of piping it on, I think I'm just going to scoop it on and kind of maneuver it around with my sticks and what have you. I also thought maybe we would bring some glow in the dark into it, because why not? We're here. So I've got some glow in the dark. It kind of reads yellowish in the dark, so we're going to mix that with some green glitter. Oh, what am I doing? Don't. No. I almost dumped that green glitter in that whole pile. And also know that whenever you're playing with this stuff, you don't need a lot of it. Unless you're going to be doing like a table or something. Like, just go easy. Like, that's probably enough for this situation. I'm just going to put a little bit of glitter. Ooh, okay. That's probably enough. I'm going to put a little bit of this. That's fun. Okay. If you've ever messed around with glow-in-the-dark pigment, you know that it's really, really difficult to deal with. It's not fun. It sinks. It gets kind of chunky and weird. It's just... The best way really to use it is to kind of like put it underneath something and let it shine up, because if you just let it do its own thing, it's going to go right to the surface. And what's really cool about this stuff is you can manipulate it. Don't worry, I told you we're going frog wild. So we're gonna put a lot of them on. I'll do a couple of them for you. Give a little paisley shape, see? I haven't been able to do that many shapes with it. I'm sure if I sort of played around and I didn't have my hard drive filling up, constantly pressuring me to hurry my ass, then I might actually be able to do something with this. See, you can see I'm sticking it to the side of the frog and it's just not moving. Like it goes where you tell it to go. Of course, introducing glitter kind of makes things a little unpredictable, but seems to be working well. I think Michelle used glitter in one of her little cake things. You know, I was talking earlier about how you can't really make videos for all the different reasons that people watch them. And there are so many reasons. People watch them to learn stuff. Some people watch them to live vicariously through other people. Some people just watch them to go to sleep. And they don't even watch them. They just listen to them. And I'm okay with all of those people coming to my channel. Like, if you want to learn something, you should find a better teacher. But if you do learn something, cool. If you just want to, like, fall asleep and listen to somebody yammer on and on, I got you, boo. I got you. If you want to copy my ideas, well, I'm okay with that, too. You know who you are. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We all copy each other. I think what happens a lot of times is you're sort of inundated with so much stuff on YouTube that you get ideas just swirling around and they come from all different places, and so you don't really know who, what, how you got the idea to do what you did, and then somebody comes along and says, hey, that was someone else's idea, and then you're like, oh crap. But you know, art and ideas for art, it's all derivative, really. It's pretty hard to have an original thought these days, or an original idea. And it gets some up in his little head. It's hard to get in there. Oh, you think I should give him an accent color? Probably just gonna come in here with black. It's pretty standard fare to put, you know, color shifting stuff on black, but glittery stuff works better on black too. I'm probably gonna go into time lapse for the rest of this, so come back, okay? Yeah. Okay. I grabbed purple to throw into this because purple and green don't really harmonize well when you put them in resin. So I thought, hey, let's chuck together some colors that actually complement each other, but we rarely see being used in combo You mix the primaries, you get the secondaries. You mix the secondaries, you get poop. That's it. Okay. Now I have a ton of this left. I gotta find my other mold because I don't even know where it is. Hey, for all of you prospective YouTubers, get prepared. Like, clean your crap up and be prepared because this is stupid. Add it to this guy. Sorry if I'm not in frame there. Let's put some of these little, like, sparkly flakies in there. That seems fun, doesn't it? Should I just use this purple? I mean, I don't think it'll hurt it too much. It'll be a little pinkish probably, but whatever. This guy's stained pretty bad, but I think it'll be okay. Somewhere around here I've got a couple of other frog molds, and I'm going to find them. Oh God, lice. It's always got to be like lice. Why? Let's get some of that lice in there. I'm going to have so much of this stuff left over. I didn't even mix that much of it up. Guess I'm going to have to find some other stuff to do with it. This is probably not reading so great on camera, but trust me, it's gonna pop. I think we're gonna have to retire this mold. And by retire it, I mean use it for like cement castings and stuff, because you don't, like, just because they lose their shininess, they don't lose their siliconiness. So. Chuck some blobs in. Whoa. I like that little purple sheen that it has too. That's pretty. And we'll just let it be in his arms and then let the black go into his toesies. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. And also when you're doing this, make sure you move pretty quick, because you really don't want your resin in your cup to start flash curing or even getting the slightest bit thick, because you need to give this stuff time to off gas. And I would say don't use a heating mat unless you're past the point where it's not going to burp out any more bubbles. Now, I think one thing you probably can do is just give it a little tap. A little tap. That's probably okay. It's probably acceptable. I've been playing around a lot with this hand-painted resin, and I wish they would call it something else, because it doesn't really roll off the tongue, you know? Why don't you guys just call it piping resin? There's an idea. Anyway, I digress. I found the black and white frog. I figure we'll just make a little twin and do white and black frog. Also, like, everything I've done up to this point with this resin has been pretty rough. I know. I see the videos. But I'm just trying to find my groove. So we're going to do this again, but instead of black with white, we'll do white with black. We'll make them little twinsies. And maybe we'll do this. Try to fix this guy. Called Frankenfrog. Alright, we'll be back. So just a little side note about this stuff. This is a 2-to-1 epoxy, and due to its extremely viscous nature, it's prone to getting bubbles in it, and even though it takes a long time to cure, gives it plenty of time to off gas. I've had a few bubble troubles. If ever you don't want to stir something so vigorously, it's this stuff. Just put on some music, listen to some Taylor Swift. I'm gonna load it up in a little tiny piping bag. Here we go again. And hopefully my arm doesn't impede me. I'm probably gonna have to move him off this platform. Actually, let's do that. Excuse my dirty table. I'm an artist, not a housekeeper. Okay, so I want to try to be as detailed as I possibly can with this. Of course, I'm sort of limited on patterns and stuff because I can't. Yeah. I want to start in his head because it's going to be hard for me to get in there otherwise without messing everything else up. Well, I got that little swirl in there. I was really hoping I could get some finer details with this. I feel like I have to flip it inside out, but I don't want to screw it up.
Your stuff, King.
Okay, this is risky. This is really risky. Ooh. I mean, hopefully it'll stay put. This is starting off a little rough, not gonna lie. It takes a bit to get going. And also I cut the tip quite a bit smaller, so it's kind of having a tough time making its way out. But we're gonna work it out because I really want it to be a fine tip so I can do detail. There we go. I'm trying to figure out what part of his face I'm on. See his little eyeballs right there. Okay. I apologize for my shakiness. It's a thing. Something I forget, and it's a good tip for just doing any sort of stuff with your hands, is to stabilize your hand with your other hand. Something I forget to do because I don't generally do that with a pencil or a pen, but in this case it definitely helps. Don't just, you're just going to wiggle too much. God, do you think it's going to screw it up when I flip it back over? I'm so afraid this is going to fall. Like, I need to be, okay. Okay, here we go. We're just going to keep it simple. Up here. I'll try to go a little more liberal with the pattern on the back. We're just going to keep it simple up here. Keep it simple, stupid. A little thick right there. It's okay though. Why? We meant it to be that way. That's why. Whenever I'm doing these types of drawings with my pen, if it gets stupid, I just go back over it, make the lines darker. The thing about that is you can sort of fool the eye with different line weights, and that just means like thickness of your lines. The bold, bolder, and boldest. It's hard to get line weight with such a little thingy-majiggy, but yeah, you know. We'll do what we can. Okay, well, I got the inside of it done, or at least that part. I don't know if you saw me struggling there with the piping bag. Whoever invented these things is real asshole. If you're watching this, I'm talking to you. You're an asshole. I probably need to just take some time and go learn about how to pipe properly. I do know one thing. Remember to stabilize. That kept forgetting to do that, and then you just start shaking and it goes all bad. Just don't. Just stabilize. Okay. Now let's see if we can flip this over without screwing it all up. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Oh man. Okay. This is gonna be a little tricky, folks. What would Julie do? What would Julie do? Oh no. What would Julie do? I don't know what she would do. She's never done this. Oh crap. You're laughing at me again, aren't you? I know it. I just know it. Can somebody come over here and give me a hand? I could use a hand. Okay, you can do this. You got this. Come on. You can do it. Oh, it needs to be pushed in right there. Oh. Somebody come stick your finger there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, we got it. We got it. It didn't fuck up. Alright. Okay. Oh, jeez. That was alright. Okay. This stuff is really messy. Of course, I am really messy, but this stuff is really messy. The piping bag is not fun. I don't dig it. Like, the stuff's easy-ish to use. Like, it does what you want for the most part, but it's not easy to get it in that bag. And it's not easy to keep it in the bag because resin, being how resin is, it wants to find the path of least resistance, which is here, not here. So we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna deal with it. Remove on. And if you do get any word spots, you can just come in here and clean them up. You got plenty of time to do that. I don't think it'll matter much. Okay, stabilize. Remember, stabilize. Here's where I kind of want to do like a big gnarly swirl in the middle. I can't stabilize for this one. Oh, don't wiggle, don't wiggle. I can't wiggle. Yeah. Let me just start in the middle. We'll start in the center and we'll meet out at the border. It looks kind of tribal, huh? Tribal stuff super easy to draw. Of course, this stuff's super easy to draw. Do you see me doing anything overly complex here? I'm not. And it's nothing impressive at first. But then when you finish, everybody's like, ooh, oh, how'd you do that? And you're like, I just drew some dots and some lines. And hey, anywhere where you wiggled or it just looks stupid, you just come in with your little pokey tool and fix it. I had to do that with the feather. The feather was pretty rough. I'm getting my groove a little with this stuff, but it's taking a bit. I realized too that I had been cutting the tip a little bit too wide. So I was getting a lot of blobbies. I was doing this black and white project, and some of the pieces came out okay. I put them on the YouTube shorts, but the main piece was just everything that could have went wrong with that did. So all I can really do is just revisit it someday, maybe, or try to salvage what I can from it. And when you see the footage of the other black and white frog, if there's anything in that video that seems out of context, that's why, because we're in a different headspace. We were in the black and white only headspace. Of course, like I do, I couldn't resist bringing some color into it, and that's where you may have seen my tortured bloom. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Don't even, just, I already know. I already know what you're thinking. Can't win them all. Okay, just gonna put it in time lapse for this. We'll finish this up. We'll come back. Got the white mixed up for this one. It's not completely cured all the way, but I don't think it's gonna matter much. I think this is probably the prettiest one. And quite honestly, I've never made anything like this. Like, drawing this type of stuff on a flat piece of paper is one thing, but doing it with all these twists and turns and curves and dips and peaks. And also, just in case you're wondering, like, these frog molds, they take about 4 ounces. I know that because I put it on my scale. I've really got to quit, like I get lazy and I just don't measure or weigh them. And then I end up with too much resin or not enough resin. So you got to make more, and then you're doing a side project. Okay. But then your side project turns into 5 side projects. It's like, gosh. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up. We'll come back. One last thing. Like, normally you would get in here and you'd squeeze these around to try to get bubbles out, but you cannot do that. If you get any bubbles, you're going to have to deal with them. Maybe use a resin that takes a little bit longer to set up. Because, like, if you go and you move, if you squish his head and all that business, you're gonna displace all of this. That resin's gonna go underneath the black, and it's gonna ruin the whole thing. So, listen to me when I talk. All right, we'll be back. All right. Are you getting sick of frogs yet? You got frog nauseum? Well, too bad, because we're just getting started. No, but for real, if you're getting sick of it, just hit the fast forward and go to the end. I don't mind. Really, I don't mind. We're going to fix this guy, because, see, I thought, like, you know, I could try to recreate his colors and just restore him, but hello, I'm not a restorationist. But I thought it would even be dumber as if we just made him look like he was put together from 2 different frogs, because that's goofy and silly, and I like to be goofy and silly. Normally when you put a piece back into the mold and you pour resin into it, it will seep underneath, and it just doesn't work. With the hand painted resin, we should be able to just glob it on those spots and call it a wrap. I think I'm going to mix up like some like really goldy gold, make him look like he's like the Tin Man, except he's the gold man. He's the... Anyway, it's time for Frankenfrog. Okay, think with this, I just gotta blob it in. There's not much to it. I get some gold stuff here. And also, if you're trying to get like a true gold look, like go for the chrome stuff. Like gold mica pigment just, I don't know, looks kind of cheap. Is that the word? Yeah, it looks kind of cheap. Like if you want like real gold, get these. This is just glitter. We've been through this. It's glitter. I'm gonna grab my stick. Just blob it in there. My husband was telling me that I should like make it look like it's got stitches. Like, what do I look like? I'm an artist, not a doctor. Okay. And this shouldn't seep underneath. If it does, it'll be ever so slight. Which I don't really think it's going to, though, unless like get in there and push it down there. But I think it's gonna stay in place. So that just goes to show you this is another use for this type of stuff. Just doing repairs. Oh, I hope I have enough. Shoot. What I'll do is I'll probably just fill him in here with this. And then maybe just drizzle on some leftover. Oh no, I can't do that because it'll seep. What was I just saying? You can't do that. Okay, we gotta make this work. We're fixing this guy. We're bringing you back to life. I'm still not even sure how he got broken. Poor Frankenfrog. We got a missing toe over here. I think this frog's a good example of like sort of jumping out of your comfort zone. Like the colors that I used on this were kind of atrocious, but when it was all said and done, it's one of the coolest frogs I've ever made. So you really should just challenge yourself to play with things that you don't necessarily like, because you never know, you might sort of stumble onto something magical. That's ultimately what we're trying to do, I think. I hope it's in there. Maybe I should poke it. Should I poke it? Yeah, I'll give it a little poke, because that's like a really deep crevasse right there. Yeah, I can see it's not going in. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. There we go. It's in there. Okay. We got it. Ew, hair. Okay. Ooh. God, I think I'm just gonna have exactly enough. That's crazy. I never have just enough. I always have too much. Or not enough. Hey, look at that. You're gonna be good as new Frankenfrog. Okay. Good as gold. Done here. Okay, we're done. Let's just finish this. Spread that out. Just give it a little smoosh. There we go, we're done. When my thing was dripping out of the bag, yeah, that's fun. I wiped it with a paper towel, and then I sort of smooched it onto here. And I noticed that it just put the coolest texture. And I'm thinking, like, if you've dissected the picture of the poison dart frog like I have, you'll see that it has these little teeny tiny circular patterns, and they're just, it's just weird. Anyway, I think this is what we need to do. And I think you could probably just do this with regular resin. It's doing that thing that resin does when you don't put enough on there. It makes little fish eyes. I think the fish eyes are what we need for the spots on the frog. Shh, don't tell anybody. Okay, I've got the excess resin here on a paper towel. What I'm going to do is come in here and kind of smooch it on. like I did on that tray. Not enough to cover it, but just enough to make it form that funky texture that the tray had. I mean, I hope this works. It might not. This might be a complete fail, but hey, we're here. And I imagine you could probably do this with regular resin. I tried it out a little bit with UV resin. Didn't really work. Just kind of got like little raindrops. And on that note, might be an easier way to do the raindrop effect. Hey, that's good. That should be good. Let me just smooch that in there. I know this seems crazy, but trust me. Just trust me, okay? I'm a professional. I'm just kidding. If anybody who's watching this actually thinks I am a professional, no. That's a hell no. I'm just, you know, fumbling my way through it, really. Hoping to stumble onto something cool. This is getting messy. It's getting real messy, y'all. I feel like I should just do it with my hands. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss any spots. I guess if I did, oh well. I can't really tell. So we're just going to let that one sit and we're going to come back to it. I know you're completely underwhelmed by this, but trust me, it's going to leave a really cool texture on there. And we come behind it with like some chameleon pigments or something, it's going to pop. I just need to find my chameleon pigments. Ooh. Alright, be back. I'm getting frog fatigue. I'm sure you are too. I know I promised you a rainbow glitter frog, but I can't find my red. So, I'm going to have to just, you know, use pink in its place. I'm probably also just going to do this in time lapse because I may have mentioned my hard drive is running over because I thought, let's do something grand and spectacular and make 10,000 frogs in one video. Yeah, it's not a good idea. Don't do this. Okay, I'm going into time lapse. We'll be back. Okay, got some extra resin here. I got like some side projects I'm working on, which I'm gonna have to, it's just basically deleted footage from this one because for everything I've done, I've had leftovers that I started doing some other stuff with. So I'm gonna upload that. It's just like cut footage or something, deleted scenes. I don't know. We're gonna finish this. I'm gonna take a break because this one was a job. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it. This stuff is work. And if you're planning on joining the community, you should know that. Wow, I got that just filled perfect. I guess through all of this, we're just learning some stuff. So, hey, at least there's that, right? Wow, okay. Anyway, we'll come back tomorrow. Cross your fingers. All right. I was in the live stream of an artist today he was trying to sample music, and he was trying to find the perfect track. And he was like, it's almost good enough, but not quite. And it's almost perfect, but not quite. And I don't really like that. And I don't really like that. And suddenly it dawned on me, like, you have to, like, sometimes challenge yourself. Like, pick the worst thing and try to make it into the best thing. So I was thinking today, what do I not really dig that much? One, roses. I'm just not a fan. Flowers are super interesting to me, but roses are kind of boring. I'm sorry, rose fans, don't drag me. But with that in mind, I have a friend who loves roses, and so I figured I could make this for her, and I could challenge myself to step out of my norm. And the second thing I'm not super into is baby pink. I did that one piece with the pink, and I kind of hate it. The design on it's cool, but the color is just atrocious. So I thought, like, I never would have done that if I wasn't there to, like, fix it. So I figure, well, what we'll do is we'll do the rose with, like, some maybe like the red chrome pigment or some glitter. I'm not sure. I'm gonna draw that on, and then I'll backfill it with the baby pink. Sound good? All right. Okay, I couldn't find red, so we're just gonna do pink. We'll do pink on pink. And really, if you're gonna do this, try to get some shallow cups, because you don't want to lose all your resin to the side of the cup. Whoopsie. And again, don't feel like you gotta rush with this stuff. You absolutely don't. You need to rush if your camera is filling your hard drive up, but otherwise, just take your time. I don't know if you can see that, but it is beautiful. Okay. I'm going to try to put this in the piping bag and not fumble it this time. I'm completely new to this whole thing, but here's something that I'm, like, having trouble with, which is I need to stop cutting the bag down, I think, because that, like, I'm referencing Julie's channel, where she always cuts it down a little bit, but I think I'm just, it seems to be screwing me up. Like, you know, Julie, I'm getting mixed messages from you. I'm going to leave the extra bag on there so I can hopefully not have it leaking out. It really drives me batshit. Okay, get it in there. Over here I've got, like, a little rough sketch of a rose that I'm going to attempt to follow. You've probably, when you were in high school, you were probably drawing these roses on your notebook. Just so we know, I have a injury to my arm, which kind of limits my mobility. So if you see me shaking a lot, that's why. I'm going to do this. I'm going to become an expert at this, and then I'm going to have, like, tutorials. And then all the cookie making people are going to come to my channel. Maybe I'll pivot into making cookies. Maybe not. Okay, let's get it real tiny. I want it teeny tiny. Too tiny. Remember, stabilize. Okay, let me look at my sketch. Okay, here's my very rough rose sketch. Okay, so we're gonna just start with a little moon shape. Look at, I'm already not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Why does this, this always gets dumb. And by this, I mean me. The user error. really hard to just stabilize your hands when you're like in this weird spot. Well, that just started off dumb. That's not how that's supposed to look. It's not. It's supposed to be like a little gap there. Let's get that gap back. There we go. Bam. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we know how this is gonna go. Shoot. All right. Just get that, smooth it out a little bit. It's kind of stupid. I don't know how I'm supposed to like go out further. This isn't gonna work. This is not gonna work. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, I don't know what that is, but it's not a freaking rose. It's something, but it's not a rose. We didn't get there. We didn't get there. But we got somewhere, so we're doing it. This is what we've got. This is what we're doing. Of course, it's always the case that the one that you have the least amount of faith in is the one that comes out the best. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I've been letting this sit for probably like, I don't know, 2-ish hours or so. This resin's still perfectly workable. So like, and you see how I'm like just smoothing it down to the tip. Like, you can use this. Don't waste this stuff. And like, when you're using regular resin, you're kind of in a time crunch to use it or lose it. With this stuff, you're really not. And I didn't even think about doing this with the leftovers. But here we are. I had enough to put those little dots and make his toes all pink. So I'm finished doing that. We'll come back and we'll knock these other frogs out. All right. As I was stirring in the red, it's kind of marbling. I was kind of thinking that would be cool. Like, let's marble it. You can do that with acrylic inks, right? Right? I hope so. Well, we'll find out. And by marbling, I mean just putting the color in, but not really stirring it up too much, letting it just be there. I don't know if that's gonna work. This might completely screw it up. Oh no, I'm about to ruin it. Well, here goes nothing. I don't really know if you can do this with acrylic inks. Probably would have been smarter to mix it into some more resin and do it, but yeah, you know, we're here. Okay, this is it. We're doing it. There better be enough here. There should be. All right. Okay, we're back. With this guy, I was playing with putting some spots on him, but then I started thinking, like, I thought about putting some spots on him, but then I realized that I want him to sort of look like he's sitting in the water, like, and it's gonna be murky water. You heard me. We're gonna do like baby poop brown water, because that's what you see with frogs. They're sitting in water. It's not like, you know, ocean blue. So I'm not putting blue in there. But so I'm gonna fill up a little clear layer, and when it, you know, starts to set up, I'm gonna come in here and put him in. Although I might just UV him in. I just don't want him right on the surface of the frog's back. I'm gonna think about that one off camera, and we'll figure it out. But ultimately, I don't want him. I only want his head to be showing in the clear layer, and the rest of that's gonna be him submerged in the water. And I thought I might, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll come in with some greenery. Do some plant business. Would that be unreasonable? We'll take a vote. You want to take a vote? Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go think about this and we'll come back. Okay, with this one I decided I'm gonna let him be at the top. I want to sort of suspend him, but we don't have time or space for that, so right? Okay, I don't care. We gotta go. So I'm just gonna pour just a wee bit. I think that's perfect. And then I want the rest to just be like a murky brown. I know that sounds so awful. Let's make it murky brown, but I kind of want to make it murky brown. Now I'm sort of like the plant. Okay, so I know normally when people do like underwater stuff, they make the water like blue and stuff, but if you look at any picture of a frog, like from the angle of him like sitting in the water, like you're not gonna see blue. Like, yeah, it's anybody following me here? We're gonna make the water look like pond water. So for that, we'll bring in gemstone citrine, aka baby poop brown. You know, we're going out of our comfort zone here. Although I remember from the Sunburst project, this actually is a little more on the yellow side, so I'm probably going to have to add black or something to it to really make it muddy. Or maybe green. Yeah, we need green, huh? We need green. BRB. This is normally two colors that people just don't mix in resin. Funny enough, painters do. I was just watching a tutorial earlier where the guy was talking about getting all these different shades of muddiness, which, like in painting, that works. If you're a painter, you know. Sometimes you need muddiness. In this case, we need some muddiness, so we're gonna make it muddy. You don't like it? Well, sorry. I want it to look murky. You know, like pond water. That looks pretty pondy, does it? Yeah. That's pretty good, actually. I don't hate it, although I want it to be a little more opaque. So I'm like, what do we do there? It's black. We need to get the black. Crazy, I'm mixing yellow, green, and black. Live dangerously. I forget this black's pretty concentrated, so it's very concentrated, so I need to just take it easy. By the way, it's really late at night. I'm delirious. I'm frogged out. That's looking real muddy. I don't hate it. I don't know, it's kind of pretty actually. I'm not a hater. Okay. I'm gonna finish stirring it up, we'll come back. Alright, does it look like pond water to you? I was kind of thinking, like, I don't have time or hard drive space, but I think if ever anything calls for a dirty pour, it would be this. And if you don't know what a dirty pour that is, that's where you just mix all the colors into one cup, give it a little stir, give it a dump, and hope for the best. I've never really been into dirty pours. I'm not a fan of them. I did the paint pouring thing for a bit. Julie influenced me. I don't know if you know that she started her channel with paint pouring stuff. Transition into resin stuff. Okay, I'm gonna finish topping that up. Mix some black. We'll come back. Oof, we're almost done. Are you ready for it? Okay. So, who here is a Swiftie? I'm like, probably like a level 5 Swiftie. I came into it during the Evermore era. And then I quite realized that she wasn't just the, the pop star that she was made out to be. I mean, she certainly is a pop star, but she's also a rock star and a folk star, and hell, she's even a rap star. Okay, I'm gonna do that little bit there. I'm gonna do, this is really hard. I apologize right now for all the moaning and groaning. I have a problem with my arm, and it's hard for me to do this stuff sort of up high. If I could put it in my lap and do it, it would be golden, but no. Okay, so on the back, I just want to do like these kind of stripes. I don't want to do the spots. You can certainly take some liberty with this type of stuff because, patterns, nature, they come in a lot of different flavors. So you can certainly have fun with that. I think I'm going to put a little bit of these stripes back here. I can't ease all this up because I have to go and do the back side of the book. So I figure, like, if I fill this with white, then the white's gonna go poof. And if I fill it with black, then black's gonna go poof. Yeah, my brain's not computing. I was even thinking I wanted to do like a swirly pattern on his head. I wanted him to look, like cute. A little cute little thing on his head. Can I do that? I don't know. Can I do that on camera even better? I don't know. Okay. Let's just try it. We're never gonna know if we don't freaking try it. I kind of feel like he'd really be cool if I just fill him in with like a neon green or something, but this guy, I feel like he needs to be retired. However, he's still going, so let's do something stupid for our final vlog. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to do this, but I've got these. It's not sponsored, by the way. I've been wanting to put some candy into resin, and I've bought the bubblegum balls to do this for this, but I keep eating them. Try to put these bubblegum balls into this frog and not eat them. Don't. I'm just debating, should I take the bubblegum balls out? No. Should I? Yeah, I probably should. You're always like, oh, just put all the shit and I'll dump it in and it'll be fine, and then bubbles. Because what happens is a lot of the times these things will press up against the mold and then the resin won't go around it. And so you have like these bare spots, I guess. So I'm just going to get some in there. And it probably wouldn't hurt for me to just chuck them in here and roll them around, but I don't want to risk of the color bleeding. So I'm gonna decant this into like another cup so that we're not flash curing over here, because that is way too deep. I don't know how much resin this guy's gonna take because he's gonna be displaced with all these bubblegum balls, but here we go. I'm gonna go into time lapse for this one. I'm literally just gonna shove the balls into the frog. There's nothing to it. If we need to discuss something, I will stop and we'll discuss. Okay. Oh no. Watch what happens. Push that one in, and that one comes up. That one in, that one comes up. This is like whack-a-mole. Oh, jeez. I mean, it's okay if they're kind of poking out on the bottom, like it is. No, that's not okay. I guess we're just gonna have to lose one or two. Yucky. I'm gonna have these resin-covered gumballs. I need to put like a do not eat sign on here. Gross. Can we get that to stay there? Maybe? No, because look, now it's pushing up the... Come on, you guys. Just... Should have got smaller gumballs. Couldn't find any. Get in there. Okay, I think that would be good. Get some more resin in there. I'm going to take a little from this cup and a little from this cup, because as we mentioned before, this stuff's heating up quick. So give that time to find its way around all those little balls. This one you can probably squish, although I would be careful just because I feel like the colors are going to run. I'm going to top that up and then we'll move on. Let's move on. We're back. And we're done. Are you frogged out? I am. A reminder, this was a guy that was left over from the Sunburst project. I didn't film him. He just, leftover resin. I went ahead and unmolded all of these off camera. You don't need to spend another hour watching me struggle to unmold. Some of them had a few issues, and we'll talk about them as I show them to you. I went ahead and fix those issues off camera because it's mostly just a little top coating and coloring in their eyes. So let's move this guy off. You like how I muted that? You didn't hear that, but it scraped across. So to start with Frankenfrog. Ta-da! He's fixed. Can you believe it? It's pretty amazing, and it's a seamless join. It's not weird and chunky right there. If you tried to do this with like UV resin, you definitely get some marks there where you joined it. And if you used regular resin, it would just seep under. It's kind of funny because I wanted to make him look like he was made up of two different frogs, but it almost looks like he was meant to be that way. Remember, he was missing a few toes back here. Let's see if we can get a little closer. There. That one. And then a big chunk of his arm was missing. But he's all better. He's all better. He's happy. Oh gosh, don't break him again, huh? He's smiling at you. Next up we got Rosie Frog, which didn't come out so much looking rosy, but she's still pretty. I like her. She looks a little bit like the pink version of our black and white one. I got a little bit blobby on the back right there where I just kind of kept going over it again and again. Probably wasn't necessary. This would probably work better also too if there was some contrast in there. You like just having that one color makes it kind of flat, but whatever. She's still cute. She's cute. And she's smiling at you too. Here's our glitter opal frog. I had to go out and put a top coat on this one. It's a lacquer top coat. Just pretty simple because these molds are so old they've lost their luster, and she had no luster. But look at, she's beautiful now. And she really lights up out in the sunlight. You get those iridescent sparkles going on. It's kind of hard to see under the lights in here, but she is beautiful. Next up we have our tortured frog. This is the one I did in a previous project that I scrapped. Got some bubbles on the back, which I may or may not come fix. Probably not. I mean, she's going to sit on a shelf and look cute. I'm not too worried about it. But just something to be mindful of if you're going to mess around with this resin. I have a giant box of costume jewelry, and I found this little earring, so I drilled a hole in the top of her head, put it in. I think she looks goofy. You think I ruined it? Anyway, next. This one I'm kind of bummed about. I shouldn't have. Like, I was going to put some spots on him, and then I thought, no, because his butt will be buried under the water, but it wasn't. Now I've got that big black blob there. It's like, what are you going to do? And there's a bubble. There's a freaking bubble. But we definitely got our pond water. Look at that's pond water. That color is a choice. It's a choice. It's a cute idea. Just not great execution. But hey, it's the story of my life. It's the theme of my channel. Who have a good idea, who have a bad execution. This one sparkles. It lights up in the day and it lights up at night. I'm going to put the footage split screen here so you can see. It's hard to capture the glow on camera, but it's really intense in person. So is the glitter, which you'll see when I'm going to take all of them outside so you can get a better look. This is really cool. It got me to thinking too, like if I wanted these two different colors of glitter to just sort of come in and out of each other, just touch each other, you could totally do that. They're not going to blend. You're going to have one of those poopy situations happening here. Unless you want there to be a poopy situation, then yeah, anyway, she's cute. Smile. Smile for the camera. Sorry about the white balance thing. My camera gets a little dumb sometimes. Trying to upgrade. This is the one I love the most. A little tattooed frog. You may have caught the obnoxious references to Taylor Swift throughout the whole bit. This is kind of my take on her having like tattoos on her face in her latest video. I just really love that song, and I love like the visuals in the song, on the album in general. It's a fantastic album, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. She's a fantastic artist, and I love her a lot, and I love this little frog a lot. That one was a real struggle. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is probably a little more, I don't want to say like advanced, because I'm not doing any complicated patterns or anything like that, but just getting all the resin to go around all those little turns and twists, that was That was tricky. That's probably why I lost it a little bit on this one, because I was kind of having some arm fatigue. This one really was work, but I love it so much. I love this frog so much. Rainbow textured frog. And just a little reminder, I guess I'll put a picture because I can't find it. I stumbled onto this kind of texturing idea with the leftover resin. I probably shouldn't have used gold, but that's what I had. This will work a lot better if you smooch that resin on with black, or even with a chameleon pigment, anything other than gold, because it just kind of lost it. It's still cute, and it's still got a funky texture, but it would have been a lot more visible if I would have used gold. So if you're going to do that, don't use gold. I think in a future video I'm going to play a little bit with trying to get different textures from just smooching the resin on. And yes, I made that word up. And last but not least, the weird one. What in the... You know, at a glance, it looks like the bubblegum balls are sticking above the surface, but they're not. They're in there perfectly. A lot of the times when you put this type of stuff into a mold, the resin won't seep like underneath it, so you'll have these things poking above the surface, but they're completely suspended in there. They are trapped. Now what they did do was try to float, so we had to flip this bad boy over and give it a little bit of a sanding and top coat it with some UV resin. We also lost a toe. Tried to reconstruct it with some UV. Didn't quite work out so well. Does it ever? I should have used the hand painter's resin like we did on the Frankenfrog over there. Anyway, that ought about wrap it up. So what's the big takeaway from this one? Well, the first one is don't be so absurd. You have 1,000 different ideas running around in your head. Sometimes you should just settle on one and not jump around from idea to idea. But what else did we learn here? We learned that sometimes there's more than one way to do something. And we learned that sometimes your old skill set can become your new skill set. We learned to embrace the dark side, but not be so tortured. We learned to step out of your comfort zone. And we learned to never lose your sparkle. But more importantly, we learned, don't take yourself too seriously. Alright, folks. If you got this far into the video, I appreciate you watching, as always. If you just fast forwarded to get here, then, well, I appreciate you watching too. In the meantime, hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope you try something. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.